Hello and welcome to the live action brought to you on Sri Lanka's #1 sports hub, www.thepapare.com. We're coming to you live from Havelock Park, and we are absolutely thrilled that we are able to come to you live from Havelock Park for this incredible encounter. The Dialog Schools Rugby Knockout Semifinal 2. St. Joseph's College taking on St. Peter's College, and this will be a traditional encounter as well for the Basil Viratunga Shield. It's currently with the Patriots, and the Josephians will do everything in their power to try and win it back for themselves. It's been a very, very gloomy day here in Colombo. It's the skies have opened up, and there was plenty of rain, and by the looks of how the field was in the morning, many thought that the game will not go ahead. But massive credit to the ground staff, the organizers, and everybody who was involved in making sure that the game can go on. And it's actually a small miracle that we have the game continuing here at Havelock Park. Joining me in the comment box is Shanaka Amarasinghe. Shanaka, it's going to be an interesting one, especially given the fact that the weather will play a massive role.
Yes, it will, Sudarshan. A good afternoon, evening, wherever you might be in the world. Good morning if you are in a part of the world that it is morning in at the moment. Dilfa Ibrahim giving the last bits of advice to his chargers as we look out on the all-important weather card. It's 30 degrees here. It feels a little less. The humidity is super high, but the rain, when is it going to come in? That's the only question, Sudarshana. I was looking at the clouds as I was walking across the ground, and it looks okay for the moment, but it's just a question of when the drench will come.
Couple of minutes ago, about 10 minutes ago, there was a slight shower that did make an appearance here at Havelock Park, but currently it looks much better than it was early in the day. So we are hoping that the rain will stay away for the majority of the game, but it's an eventuality, isn't it, of rain coming down at least for a while.
Well, let's hope so, Sudarshan, especially at this match. I don't know whether they've got a little statue of St. Peter or St. Joseph up somewhere in the corner of the ground with a little umbrella, or whether it's St. Anthony. I don't know. But I'm sure if the Saints are going to be smiling, it's going to be on this matchup, something that I've been looking forward towards for a long time. This is how they've got here.
The quarterfinal results. Isipatana College, of course, getting a bye, and then DSN Naik versus Sahira, that incredible encounter which was decided in the last minute of the game. Mohammad Zad managing to get Zahira onto the semi-final. Antonians were bludgeoned by the Josephians, who would have gotten a lot of confidence after that game. 57 points in L. St. Peter's, on the other hand, did look a little shaky after that first half against Trinity College. 8 points to 6 was the score, but come the second half, first 10 minutes of the second half, they put on a terrific show to make sure that they secure the semi-final spot and remain unbeaten.
A professional outfit, isn't it, St. Peter's, Sudarshana? So they know when to turn the gas on. They know that they were in for a tough semi-final. So I don't think Coach Martis would have allowed his Chargers to go 100% in that first half. He would have known exactly when things needed to be done, and I'm sure he got it done in the way that he would want to. All he needed is a win, and now they're here in the semi-finals. This is the warm-ups from a little earlier today, and I have to say, Sudarshan, as you were mentioning earlier, I don't know whether they've bust in some experienced staff from the Kettarama or the SSC, but the way they've got this ground ready is just unbelievable compared to what it looked like in the morning.
That was the little shower that made its appearance, so these boys getting a chance to try and warm up and get accustomed to that wet ball as well while they had their final runs. And like you mentioned, despite we not seeing water on the surface, the underfoot conditions are going to be very muddy and soggy, which will suit both the teams, if you ask me, because both the teams have very good set of forwards, but the Petrite backline who like to run will consider it a little disadvantage.
It kind of evens things up, doesn't it, Sudarshan? When you've got terrible conditions, even in a cricket match, let's look at this week's fixtures and results. We had Isipatana taking on Zahira yesterday in the first semi-final, and although Zahira did hang in there towards the end of the first half, Isipatana just opened up and there were too much to contain. 39 points to 10 was how they made their way into the final. They'll meet the winner of today's game.
Well, 39 points to 10. Tale of two halves. It has been the story for Zahira College, who are very reliant on their forwards. They put up a terrific performance in the first 40, but unfortunately can't match up in that second half. Depending on the result of this game, we will either have Shanika, a repeat of last year's knockout final, or a repeat of the league decider, where Isipatana is going to feature for sure. This is the road to the final. Like we spoke, Isipatana College got a bye in the quarter-final. In the semi-final, defeated Zahira College, who beat DS Aranaka and have already booked their place in the final. In the quarter-final, 3 Antonians were bludgeoned, like I mentioned. A heavily depleted Antonian outfit were outsmarted by St. Joseph's, who would have gotten a lot of confidence, whereas St. Peter's had a very measured performance against Trinity College, coming in, setting up a beautiful semi-final, which is going to be absolutely brilliant, especially given the fact that it is a Joby, it is for a traditional trophy. We have much more to chat about, but we'll do that after this short commercial break.
Make your mark. Kissed Ride. Try the new wave of energy. Kissed Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kissed Ride. Try the new wave of energy. Kissed Ride. Try the new wave of energy. Kissed Ride. Try the new wave of energy. Kissed Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kissed Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Coloma, beautiful outside and inside.
Kissed Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Coloma, beautiful outside and inside.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Coloma, beautiful outside and inside.
Black Knight, make your mark. Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Enjoy the infinite possibilities of the freedom of space, inspired by the beauty of our land. Sri Lanka's finest finished, largest sized porcelain tile collection. Majestica. Lanka Tiles. Fine living redefined.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Well, welcome back to the live action brought to you on the Papare.com, where we will go through the team cards. St. Joseph's Atakurala Kavinda Sandesh, Lanka, Marasinghe, Fernando, Vaidyanath and Naveen Marasinghe making up the forwards. Unchanged from the Antonian game. We have Randeep and Bhishma Jayasekara. The 9 and 10 combination. Ivan White and Sanukala Hakon will be in the centres. Seniduran, Tarus Jayasuri and Randika Daham Jaya, the back three for St. Joseph. Ishan, Malinda, Ashen, Himesh, Inosh, Nathan, Akash and Shenuja making up the bench for the Josephians. Here are the Pete White outfit.
Pranitha Ridmal, Januka Sudeepa, Jehan Veerabangsa, Sadeep Gamage, Shanuka Pereira, Aiden Fernando, Ashen Madhugaspa, the captain, Dulaj Navodya, the number 8, Galage and Dimel will pair off in the halves. Jaivikrama and Shehara have been outstanding in midfield, and Ranasinghe, Takshila and the dangerous Kushantar in the wet fullback. Methusara, Sachin, Denon, Revon, Praneeth, Emit, Vishenka and Rahul will make up the bench for St. Peter's.
We're all set for this all-important semi-final as the crowds are cheering up. Match officials for the day. Aruna Shanta will be the man in the middle. Ravin Alexander and Callum Sundarwan, the ARs, with Irshad Khan functioning as the television match official.
The league standings mean absolutely nothing today as these two teams kick off against each other. Historical rivalry, probably the most heated rivalry for both teams against each other. And although St. Peter's are league champions, St. Joseph's will know that they are a far underachieving side and will be aiming to put that right today. Nice and deep from Bhishma. Vindhya Dimel bouncing that infield. Dahamja back to Randika. That one goes way long, and the initial mistake will bring play back all the way to halfway.
Interestingly, the AR's flag inside the 50 meter of St. Joseph's College. So was it not a 50-22? You may ask, but Pete Wright.
First line out of the game, Dulaj Navodya. And this is where Vaidyanatha is going to be dangerous at the front of that Josephian lineout. Such a good defensive lineout jumper, and this is something that St. Peter's haven't faced all season. As we see, Senitha Eran, in one of his first starts in this season, thought a gap opened up for him, but he hadn't heard the whistle.
Well, it will be loud, I can assure you that. Crowd still making their way. The rain would have delayed them a little bit.
So first line out of the game went very much St. Joseph's way. First scrum of the game. And we'll see exactly what happens here in this very important facet, especially in this weather. Taken quickly by Gallage, but the pass was not a good one. Bhishma Jayasekara shoves it back, but maybe needed to hold on to it a little bit, and perhaps advantage could have been played there.
Seems like the Josephians also lost the ball forward, but indication of what's to come. This game is going to be a stop-start affair, especially with the wet ball conditions. Officials of Sri Lanka Schools Rugby Football Association must be mighty pleased that they have this game going, and the sun that is here at Havelock Park is a welcome sight to everyone who's enjoying this game from around the world. Madhu Gaspe wanted to have a chat with his forwards unit.
The first scrum, a little bit of pressure on the Peterites. They weren't really going back, but Gallage's pass wasn't the best. So we want to figure that one out for the next time. But this time it's Vihanga Randeepa to feed. Dulaj Navodya coming out as scrum half. So an interesting tactic there, meaning that they know that Navin Marasinghe is a danger and they want a big man on him. Marasinghe picks and passes. Now they've got a big short side. Randeepa. Dummies.
Well, the idea was correct from the Peterite player who was bouncing on that loose ball, but he was in front of the player who had knocked the ball on. So, an opportunity for St. Joseph's College to try and make sure that they get that territorial advantage. And in this game, territorial advantage is going to be absolutely important, especially with the wet ball conditions that they will have to contend with throughout the game. Getting his team into the 22-meter mark versus Jayasekara.
Going to be a key player today. Jayasekara, with his kicking, becomes such an important facet of any wet weather game. And you'd have to say that St. Peter's, with both Vindhya Dimel and Sandhun Jayasekara, are a little bit ahead in that department. Chamod Senaratne to throw into this attacking Josephian lineout. They go to the back and taken beautifully by Ayush Lanka, who is sacked, and the referee says that's perfectly okay. It's available for St. Joseph's. It's slow ball, but they won't mind that because the recipient is Navin Marasinghe, who can go forward. Vihanga to Vaidyanatha. Vaidyanatha with a lovely fend and breaks the first line of defense, but they leave the ball behind, and it's two knock-ons again. This might be a long afternoon for referee Aruna Santha with this ball. As soon as it touches the floor, becoming like a bar of soap, Sudarshana.
That time Bhishma Jayasekara getting into that act. Lovely work by Sachin Vaidyanatha. When everybody focuses on Navin Marasinghe, he pounces on the openings that Marasinghe's charge creates in the defensive line and looks to penetrate that defensive scrum for St. Peter's College. And if you're just joining us, yes, we have the game's on. The game is continuing, and all credit to the Havelock Sports Club ground staff who worked tirelessly to make sure that the ground is well and truly okay to play the game.
Nice clearance kick, but equally well fielded by this Josephian back three. This Jahamje, such a dangerous runner, finding a nice ball to the far side wing, but assistant referee Alexander has his flag up on the corner. because the Pete Wright cover defense just managed to get across.
Josephians have been making all the plays in this opening couple of minutes. So that's going to be very important that they keep playing this territorial game. Like we mentioned, the wet ball is not going to help anyone.
Let's see whether Vaidyanatha will come into the mix here again. He does, but this time is not successful. But the ball is not a good one for Vindhya Dimel, who has to go straight into the forwards and is saved that time by a high tackle.
Well, very lucky, and credit to the referee for managing that as well. Tarusa Jayasuriya, that time not getting his height right, wrapped his arm around Vindhya Dimel, who cut back into the forwards.
Yeah, it was a good call. Tarusa Jayasuriya just wrong-footed a little bit there by Vindhya Dimel. But a high tackle is a high tackle, but good that referee Aruna Shantha knew there was no malice there and was just a penalty. It's always good to see the referees adopting a common sense approach to these high tackles. There's nothing too dangerous about that at all.
The game being stalled because there are some supporters who are sitting in front of the advertising boards. Common occurrence at Havelock Park, but you cannot have that. The ARs need to have their space in order to be able to move around. Referee Aruna Shantha holding play up until it's sorted.
I have to say, walking into the ground today, Sudarshan, I expected a far smaller crowd, but looks like the Joes and Pete fans have braved the weather.
Well, Dimel's kick targeted the two rectors, who will definitely not see anything to that. Front peel by St. Peter's College. Saduk taking the ball, Sadev rather, taking the ball forward.
Galage to his big pod of forwards, that's Ridmal. Look now for a little bit of space for Jayavikrama to put in that 50-22 attempt. Here's Senith Eran, who's been in the game early on. Looks like he's got a decent boot on him, the new Josephian winger. But Jayavikrama is back, under pressure. Looks for a raking kick across field and falls into the hands of Marasinghe. Takes it up to the 50-meter line. He'll find it a little difficult on this wet ground to get as much of a head of steam, but again, Aruna Shantha very clear. Number 7 not rolling away. Madhu Gaspe, the captain, is guilty.
Pete Wrights haven't had any possession in the opposition 50. It's something that they will try to do, because you don't want to be playing any rugby in your 40. And Pete Wrights have been forced to camp up in that 40, not getting the connection that he was looking for that time. The Hamja, who's wearing number 10 but playing at number 15 for the Joes. He started off as a number 10, but then Ruchit Rodrigo took over that mantle. Here's what happened.
Well, he had a first go, but it wasn't him really. It wasn't the hands. It was Madhu Gaspe who fell across and wasn't rolling away. Sena Ratna to throw in. And even though that wasn't contested, it was well on the inside shoulder of Vaidyanatha there. So, unfortunately for St. Joseph's, giving away a golden opportunity.
Yes, that time around, despite it not being contested, might as well have thrown it to the scrum off. And referee Aruna Shantha and referee Robin Alexander very correctly spotting that. They're boarding the option to St. Peter's, who've taken the scrum option.
Galage with a headband on today. Dimel. Ball off to Soiru. Nice overlap created there by Kushal. And now Senith Eran Forward pass called by referee Arunasantha, and Iran wondering like the rest of us why he wasn't allowed to keep playing.
Kushantarindu's pass looked marginally forward. That one. Then Ranasinghe was in front of him. Now again possession for St. Joseph's in the opposition 40-meter mark.
This is a wonderful opportunity for Marasinghe. Plenty of room at Dulaj Navodaya once again in the number 9 position. Nicely channeled for the big Josephian skipper. There he goes. Madhugaspe swats one, but Navodaya gets there quickly. Holding on is the call, and that's really good thinking from the coaching team of St. Joseph's, of St. Peter's rather. They know he's coming on that blind side, and that's why they want Dulaj Navodaya there. That's what Coach Sanath Martis is telling his assistant Rajiv Pereira. I told you that's what they were going to do.
Looking into the proceedings like a hawk, Coach Sanath Martis says
what I want to see is where Gallagher is packing down. Sudarshan, is he on the flank?
He's on the flank. He's backing down at number 6. Big collision, but lovely bit of work. Madhugaspe is in the team for that, wearing the number 7 jersey. He's a master at turnovers and does that beautifully well.
2 number 7s, high quality players, Asen Madhugaspe and this man Vaidyanatha. Ball lost forward once again at the back of that line out. So it's going to be a bit of a stop-start game. I don't think anyone coming here, having seen the weather conditions earlier, was going to expect a fast-paced game of rugby with lots of passing. So this is going to be the story of the next few minutes.
What's interesting is that when it is a stop-start game, Shanika, the moment one team breaks away, scores something, and the other team will psychologically be threatened, because what's going to happen is it's going to be very difficult for any team to get into rhythm. So plays made from broken play is going to be very important.
Navodaya again in his new position. So Coach Martis picking the horses for courses. Younger Randeep having a sly look as to where he should go, and I think he might have thought about going on the blind side there. Prashant Tarindu under a little bit of pressure now. Nice tackle from the Hamja. The ball goes to the floor. Picked up, but the referee says there was a knock-on the floor there. But St. Joseph's won't mind that because they've come a whole 55 meters downfield.
Well, could tell you, Prashant Tarindu's heart would have been in his mouth. Castle, 3 Josephians on him. And yeah, just there, losing the ball forward. Referee Arunasantha placed beautifully to spot that. Because if St. Joseph managed to collect that ball, that would curtains for St. Peter's.
There's Janit Marasinghe with an unfortunate little knock-on. Never easy to pick up in the best of conditions. Certainly not with the slippery grass. Gallagher. Vindya Dimel keeps it nice and low, and it's a Muralidharan off break into touch.
Yet again, we are back playing inside the half of St. Peter's College. We have Rugby having a couple of words to Dinit Ranasinghe. Dinit Ranasinghe doing that slight little bit. Our camera crew had a little bit of trouble finding where Nilufer Ibrahim was, because he's not at the bench, wanting that aerial position.
Number 14, Mogada.
Another line out for St. Joseph's. Want to do better than the last one they had on the opposite side of the field, and they do much better this time with Ayashan Lanka taking it in the number 5 position. Driving forward. Vihanga Randeep are having fun at the back of this giant pack St. Joseph's good discipline to keep that ball with them. It's the same maul as it goes forward, marching from the 40-meter line up inside the 22. This is energy-sapping stuff. Taken by Vaidyanatha and met in a good tackle. Madhugaspe is stuck in there, but that time manages to get just enough out of the way to make the ball available. Randeepa looking for his forward runners. Just one out. Marasinghe, the younger. Vaidyanatha, good tackle on him. Ramithu Ridmal. Not rolling away is a call. Ridmal's tackle, I thought he did well enough, but didn't do it fast enough for the referee. St. Joseph's have a chance at first points. And I would take it.
Oh, absolutely. Knockout rugby points are very, very important. They may have the momentum on their side. Opting to go for a short tap, St. Joseph's College.
Chamut Senaratna was a man who took it in and it bounced its way into the hands of another Josephian forward. So they were a little fortunate. Here's a little bit of space opening up. They've got an overlap. Marasinghe. In fact, it's Ivano White. I'm sorry.
Good. Back. Back, please. Back, please. No.
Shika Fernando looking for the younger of the Marasinghes there. Randeepa goes in.
Good.
Janit Marasinghe, is he over? Yes, he is. But the referee will just make doubly sure it looked for all money, like he might have got down there, Janit Marasinghe.
I think it was Naveen, the older one. It's very easy to try and
clearly play grounded batting. Okay. But ball like visibility ka matter me pat matter me pat thing. Ball batu na but yeah. Okay, copy down. Right.
Very clear instructions, brilliant instructions from the assistant referee.
Card. और माँ पहले है ना
Okay, I'll come. Wait. Okay.
Referee Aruna Shanta.
Suranga, you want to touch down or not?
Yes. Mangane ball like a beamer touch it. Try una ada not the kill.
Okay, thank you. Producer,
That's an
can you have
interesting
a
one.
touchdown or not?
Try or no try is the question. He hasn't said anything about on-field no try or on-field try. He just wants to find out what happened. Let's see.
Well, there is a large screen present at the ground, and
Try.
Most
can you
of,
have another angle?
the ground
Can you have another angle?
staff and the ground spectators already celebrating the Josephians. Here's another angle for the TMO to take a look at. That's not going to help. I think
Can you show the first angle through zoom?
referee Carter wants the first angle to try and take a look whether it was a try or not. It's going to be a very close call because it was very close to the line. Did the ball cross the line will be the decision that had to be made. I think the earlier angle was the better one.
Good, that one.
Here we are, nice up and close. It's Navin Marasinghe getting that leg drive going. Here he is, Madhugaspe, and
Yes. Okay, producer, I made a decision.
That's,
I made a decision. Sura, you may award the try. Award the try.
Well, the call comes from the television match official. Suranga, you may award the try, and that's the first score for St. Joseph's College. They've dominated possession and they reap the reward.
well, you can bet your bottom dollar Navin Marasinghe is going to make his presence felt in this encounter. And he barged over from close range. That's where we expect him to come from. That's where he's most dangerous from as well. Just managed to get that ball over the line and was strong enough in the face of 3 would-be Peterite tacklers to hold on to it. And the Peterites couldn't wrest it from his grasp. Madhugaspe tried as much as he could to even hide the pictures if that was possible. But I think the man of the match of the semi-finals weekend probably needs to go to the Papare camera crew, as Ivano White fails to add the extra points on a difficult day for kickers. We'll find out how that's going to affect proceedings as we go along. But St. Joseph's in the 20th minute of the game have the first try on the board.
Here's another look where it happened. Ashen Madhugaske finding it difficult to stop that mountain of a man coming at him. Navin Marasinger getting his team in front, leading from the front. Coach Ibrahim not happy at the formation of the players. I think our camera crew caught him at a difficult moment.
Kushan Tarindu puts it into the space, so that's probably why he was not happy, because there were too many gaps in receiving that kickoff. Galage goes left, comes right. Here's Ridma. Gave away that penalty. You must be smarting from that. Galage goes blindside again. Here's Aiden Fernando. Again to the blind side from St. Peter's. Very clear that this is the pattern that they are wanting to play.
This is something that they've realized, that the Josephians are fragile from the short side of the field. Teams are always vulnerable after they score.
I think that was Tarusha Jayasekara on the far side. He just couldn't get his hands to that kickoff.
Well, seems like referee has changed his mind and is coming back to that initial loss forward by St. Joseph's, and rightfully so, because it's their exact same position. St. Joseph's lost the ball forward, so there was not enough advantage for St. Peter's, who decided to play the ball and not kick it away, because the moment you kick it away, you lose advantage. Ball out.
Squirting out from Dulaj Navedya's feet. Not something that he would have wanted there. Kushan Tarindu to Dinet Ranasinghe now. Good cover tackle coming through. That was Shanuka Alahakon that came across and made an important tackle to help his fullback out. And St. Joseph's have managed to wrest possession once again.
Interesting stuff here, because those expansive passes are going to be very difficult ones to catch. Take a look at that. Now they're normally safe as houses. Very skillful player who can play across the park despite wearing that number 8 jersey. Makes the throws from the lineouts as well. Now, for the first time, Josephians will be tested on their exit strategy, Shanika, just outside the 22 meters. We'll see how well St. Joseph's can exit.
They've got Galage back in the traditional number 9 position. Jayasekara. It's a high kick, fielded very calmly in the end by Jayasekara with a lovely switch to Kushan Tarindu. And now here's a little bit of space opening up for St. Peter's. Bandar on the inside to Yumet. Yumet is just unable to release the ball there, and it was really good work from the Josephian arriving player to make sure he got his hands on that ball and win the penalty, because Yumet looked like he might have sparked something for St. Peter's.
Josephians will consider themselves very much lucky. Every time the Peterites have come into their half, they've been able to try and get a penalty out and make sure that they try and exit. However, they'll be worried about the fact that their line-out hasn't functioned in some areas as much as they would have wanted. Aishan Lanka and also Sachintana Vaidyanatha, two very, very good jumpers. And the Petrites have largely opted not to contest the lineouts, Shanaka. That's an interesting strategy from the Petrite camp, but Josephians need to get their lineout going.
Ball straight over the top, and Marasing is the one that manages to come away with it. It doesn't have to jump against some of these other mere mortals in the forward packs of both teams. Nice kick off the outside of the boot. Fielded easily by Jai Vikrama, who's fallen back, and this looks like it could go into that 50-22 territory, but nicely fielded in the end from the Josephian back three. And looking for the touch finder and doing well in finding it just over half.
Bhishma Jayasekara almost put a long berry to try and field that one. The two players clashing on each other, and well, nothing going the way of the Peterites. I thought that quick line out was highly unnecessary, Shanaka. There weren't not many players available at the back. You should have delayed it a little bit and make sure that you get your line out. Seems like the Petrites are not very much confident of their line out group. They're not contesting, and they're looking at taking those quick ones.
Well, it's what I was talking about in that first line out, Sudarshana. When Vaidyanatha went up and challenged that number 2 ball and won it, that puts a little bit of doubt into the entire forward pack. They've got to settle that down at half-time, and I'm sure Coach Maris will address that. But this is such a wonderful opportunity again for Marasinghe. A number 8's dream, these centre field scrums. And if you're a number 8 the size of Navin Marasinghe, then life becomes really very simple. But really nicely done by Dulaj Navodaya, who tackled his opposite number behind the gain line there. Sandesh Induvara takes it forward, but takes it forward slowly, so it's really static ball for St. Joseph's at the moment. They've gone back about 10 meters from where the scrum was. Here's Janit Marasinghe, the Hamja, stepping, trying to create something, swiveling out of 2 tackles. Now he finds a little bit of grass. Chamod Senaratne trying to take it up to the 22-meter line. Randeep with some quick ball for the first time. Stepping back in the field of play was Lanka. Again, Navin Marasinghe trying to get a little bit of momentum going, but the Peterite defense is equal to the task. That time a good tackle from Jehan Veerabangsa. The Hamja again. St. Joseph's not having a lot of structure, just going one-out runners. Marasinghe again takes 3 players with him, but going sideways more than forwards.
Time off. Blue number 1. Blue number 1.
Yes, I think Jehan Atukorala was on the floor for a little while. Held his head.
Well, there's no HIA here, Sudarshana.
Well, the Papare most popular schools rugby player 2023. Web voting is now open. All you got to do is visit thepapare.com/most popular. You'll be able to try and vote for your favorite player. 70 players have been listed down, and they will be shortlisted to 20. Make sure that your favorite are in that 20 by voting. Everybody can vote once per 24 hours, so every day you need to make sure that you go and put in your vote and make sure that your favorite is in the top 20 when we start the SMS voting.
Other good news is that the sun is beating down across a good 2/3 of Havelock Park. Not something that we expected a few hours ago or even 45 minutes ago. But as the sun beats down on one end, the clouds gather at the other. And referee Arunasantha, who stopped that game just to make sure that Jehan Atukorala was okay. There's no HIA, Sudarshana, which means the referee is in sole charge and he must recognize and remove. So It was very good that Arunashanta got the medics in and had a check himself.
I think he did get some help from Callums on the run, and also, or maybe Ravin Alexander, who spotted that and flagged referee Arunashanta. Good work by the referees, functioning as a team.
Marsing again. We'll look for this one to Randeepa, 8-9 coming in. Off the angle was Ivano White. Vaidyanatha, access scrum half, looks for his skipper. They're getting him low and they're getting him early, Sudarshana. He hasn't had much to do apart from the try-scoring run. Here's where St. Joseph's are at their most dangerous, to pick and go. Still available, but it goes now to Bhishma Jayasekara. Ramdeepa.
There's a forward pass coming in there. Jayasekara spotting Randeepa, but was quick to that action. A little bit of Vajabaji, Dahamja getting in the face of some of the beat rights, and the young Marasinger, Janit Marasinger, getting in between the two charges and making sure that he diffuses the tension.
Jayasekara was standing way back to the breakdown there, and Dahamja just should have got behind his fly half. It's not always the passer's fault if the receiver is in front. 50-50. St. Peter's leaving the ball behind. Vindhya Dimel with an uncharacteristic mistake, and will relieve the Josephians because they get to put the pressure back on at the next scrum. So it's scrum after scrum here at Havelock Park, and soon this is going to sap the energy of both of these forward packs.
Well, the only reason why the score remains at 5 points to nil is because of the superior defensive discipline of the beat rights. They've managed to make sure that they've held their shape defensively. Otherwise, with the Josephians holding on to the ball for so long, Shanaka, the score would have been much different.
Something had to give, and it hasn't yet, because St. Peter's have been very disciplined, very aggressive, the way that they've come forward. So Navin Marasinger again going off the back, but going sideways rather than forwards. The Hamjaya slipping on this hairy turf, and Marasinger goes again. Randeepa with again some slow ball, waits for his spot of forwards. Bhishma Jayasekara, Chamod Sena Ratna, the hooker takes it forward, and beautifully done by Ridmal, who puts a long ball over the top to Bandara. Not sure that was the correct pass. Ridmal playing like a fly half trapped in the body of a prop.
Well, the tackling attempt by St. Joseph's were good, but they have been bundled into touch. St. Peter's have really struggled with ball control, isn't it, Shanaka? They've lost the ball so very many times, which puts the doubt in every single player in that back line, where they have a massive advantage when it comes to the two teams. Front peel again to Sadev.
It looks like they're not going to try to outjump this Josephian line-out, who have two very good exponents in Ayeshan Lanka and Sachin Vaidyanatha. And again, St. Joseph's winning the penalty. Really good work over the ball at the breakdown by the Josephians. It's about the third penalty they've won in that exact same fashion. So discipline from St. Peter's, and need to get the clean out right.
30 minutes on our clock. St. Joseph's 5 points to nil. Beat rights have had quite a few instances throughout this season where they've had difficult first halves, but they've come back in flying fashion in the second. So will the Josephians be able to try and match them out? hopefully our production team can give us a wide shot to see the St. Joseph's forwards and the backs. Squeaky clean white jerseys in the back line, very muddy ones up front for the Josephians.
That ball going straight into the hands of Lanka. Nicely sacked by St. Peter's, who've done their homework in that department. Going straight to grind was a Josephian ball carrier. Nice and low, but they've squirted it forward. Still available though for Vihanga Randeepa. And once again, that Peterite defense is really strong on the fringes. Number 10 offside is the call from referee Aruna Shanta, and now they have a free play. The Josephians just under the sticks inside the 22. Was a bit of an accidental offside there, so the referee will come back for the offside penalty. What do they do here? Ivano White wasn't too flash from the same position, but Sachin Thanavaidyanatha and Vihanga Randeep are both pointing to the post, and I tend to agree.
Oh, absolutely. No questions asked. When you go into the half-time, 8 points to nil would lead much better than 5 points to nil, and that's going to put some pressure on the Peterites as well. Ivano White missed a conversion which was in a difficult angle. This should be bread and butter to him, but remember, very wet, soggy, muddy underfoot conditions. It's never easy to get your rhythm. White strikes and White gets 3 more points to the Josephians. Lovely bit of work by the Josephian centre as they increase the lead to 8 points to nil. St. Joseph's now would be very much relieved, but what they need to do now is to make sure that this restart is on point. They try and calm things down and they go into half-time keeping St. Peter's at 0.
There's no such thing as an easy kicking knockout rugby, especially not in these soggy conditions as we are experiencing here at Havelock Park. And Ivano White has put his team in a really good position and also thumped the ball down 50 meters to relieve pressure. That was the Hamje, of course, with the touch finder. But as you said, Sudarshana dealt with the restart beautifully.
It was important that the Josephians get the exit right from that restart. Just under 35 minutes on our clock so far. Joes have made all the play. Whenever Peterites had possession, they've been very loose with it, very responsible with it, losing the ball. It's difficult conditions, all right, but then that's part of rugby.
St. Peter's not being allowed to run the way they would usually like to. The big heavy Josephian forward pack has made sure of that. Madhugaspe for the first time in a long time as the Peterites take the ball. And again they've coughed it up. Holding on is the call. And referee Aruna Shanta has been super consistent.
Yes, he was the first man to that ball and had absolutely all the right to that ball and making sure that he gets his arm around the ball. He was supporting his own body weight, and Coach Sanat Madis is not looking a happy man. I wouldn't want to be part of that huddle during half-time. He'll have some choice words for the Peterites to try and waken them up. Unbeaten tag on the line. Double championship on the line for St. Peter's College. For St. Joseph's, they have nothing to lose. They've had a dismal season, very underperforming season by their standards of the squad this season. But this traditional trophy and a spot in the knockout final will give them a lot of redemption. If they can win this one, they set up a rematch of last year's knockout final against Isipatana.
Don't move.
White lining it up. Definitely has plenty of distance. This big mid center.
The run-up is a short one. The strike is good, but just not enough connection on it. Madhugaspe. Beautifully done by St. Peter's there. Here's Gallagher with a little bit of space. Quick ball again from Gallagher. Here's the man who started it all off. Here's Rithmal. And Ivano White almost had an interception.
Outside.
It's just a knock-on, says the referee, and it looks like it might be half-time.
Well, what a half we've had. Dialog Schools Rugby Knockouts 2023 semi-final number 2. Electrifying stuff in that first 35 minutes as both teams dealt blows, but territorially St. Joseph's were absolutely on point. They dominated territory. They played all their rugby in the opposition 50, which they had planned to do. The kicking game was very good, but most of all, their tackling work is what gave them this advantage, Chanaka.
Yes, I thought they had missed a trick when they opted to go for that penalty, because I thought they should just have put that into touch with that line out functioning so well and ground out the last minute of the half as well. If they score, they score. If not, doesn't matter anyway. But at 8 points to nil, no damage done. St. Peter's tried to run out of their 22 in the last move of that game, but halted by just enough Josephian defense at the end. It's been an exciting game, even though St. Peter's have not got any points on the board, but that may all turn around when we come back.
Highlights of the first half. This was the first try. Navin Marasinghe touching down Ivano White, getting 3 points on the board. Soon after, 8 points to nil is how it stands here at Havelock Park in this second semi-final of Dialog Schools Rugby Knockouts 2023. And we will have the interesting second half coming up, and to see who will join Isipatana in the final. But that will be after this short commercial break.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Beautiful outside and inside.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy. Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy. Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy. Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Coloma, beautiful outside and inside.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Coloma, beautiful outside and inside.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Black Knight, make your mark.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Enjoy the infinite possibilities of the freedom of space, inspired by the beauty of our land. Sri Lanka's finest finished, largest sized porcelain tile collection. Majestica. Lanka Tiles. Fine living redefined.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Catch the excitement real time. Be up to date with it all. Let us capture your milestones. Get it sizzling hot off the turf. Hear the experts break it down. Dig deep into the nitty-gritties. Be inspired by their greatness. Relive all the scintillating action.
Season 1 දැනුම Season 2 චරිතාවලිය Season 3 ක්‍රීඩා විප්ලව
Welcome back to the live action brought to you on Sri Lanka's number one sports app, www.thepapare.com. Dialog Schools Rugby Knockouts 2023 Semi-Final number 2. We've had a thrilling first half where St. Joseph's have made all the plays. They've dominated territory, they've held on to their possession and are in front 8 points to 0. St. Peter's, on the other hand, will want to make sure that they hold on to possession. They haven't been able to build more than 3 phases, Shanak, and that has been their undoing in the first 35.
Yeah, they haven't been able to hold the ball, which is uncharacteristic for this St. Peter's team. We've seen a few mistakes from their big players like Vindhya Dimel and Sudesh Chavikrama, Gallagher as well. I think they will need to just settle down a little bit, and perhaps that halftime break would have done that for them. Maybe got the adrenaline levels a little bit down and made sure that they play to their strengths, because it's certainly not an insurmountable lead, but 8 points to 0 in these conditions, Sudarshana, is probably worth about 15 points.
Absolutely spot on, Shanaka, because with the difficult underfoot conditions, slippery ball, and also given the fact that this is knockout rugby, so much at stake for the Petroids. Unbeaten season on the line.
Referee Aruna Santos had a great first half, gets the second half underway, and it's put deep into the Josephian half to be taken by Ayeshan Lanka, who goes off on a bit of a wander, takes it outside the 22. Madhugas puts Ramdeep under a lot of pressure, and again that's what's haunted St. Peter's in that first 35 minutes. And Dulaj Navodaya, who's usually so good, leaves the ball behind.
It's concerning for the Petroids because, like you mentioned, it's those standout players, the leaders who are normally very, very secure, who are making mistakes. Dulaj Navodaya, Vindhya Dimel, Sudesh Chavikrama haven't been able to try and get that continuity going, and that is tinkering on their confidence. Josephians, on the other hand, have played that territorial game. I'm sorry if I'm sounding like a broken record, but they are playing that territorial game well. They don't want to run the ball inside their own 40, and they're making sure that they put the ball behind St. Peter's defensive line, who are normally very, very good.
Watch for Bhishma Jayasekara to put a long ball down the diagonal of the field. It's taken by Ivana White at first receiver, who trundles it over the 50-meter line. And here's Navin Marasinghe stepping back on the inside. A lovely ankle tap from Dulaj Navodaya, but he was outside of 1 meter of the ruck. So that's an interesting one. I'll be happy to explain the rule if we have a little bit of time.
Lost forward there, but again it was Dulaj Navodaya who gave a grass-cutting tackle on Navin Marasinghe, because when that boy builds up head of stream, Shanak, there is absolutely no stopping him.
So there was no ruck there, Sudarshan, which is the interesting point. There was a tackle, but he wasn't held. Marasinghe wasn't held in the tackle. So there was no ruck over the ball. So it's just a loose ball. And since you're not entering within 1 meter of the tackle area, then Navodaya was within his rights to play the ball. It's a behind the back or through the legs switch to Gallagher. Nice little wraparound pass to Dineth Ranasinghe, who has not really had much ball to run with today. Peters take it over the halfway line. Gallagher to Ritmal. Here's a little bit of a left-footed push through the center of midfield by Vindhya Dimel. And a superb tackle from Bandara. And that time it's Vishika Fernando, and the ball is left behind by the Josephians. That was Shanak Alhakun who dropped that ball cold. Ritmal. Nice ball presentation from the big prop. Now a little bit of space for St. Peter's. Yumet Chihara gets the ball away to Dineth Ranasinghe. That's that dangerous duo on the right hand side of the field. Can they get it back in a dangerous position? Yes, they can. Jai Vikrama. They're playing under an offside penalty. Ritmal again. Quick ball for Gallage. Jai Vikrama looks for the long pass. Here's Madhugasge, the captain. Caught in a good tackle by Dahamjaya. But the referee will come back for the penalty. So St. Peters have just absorbed and now they're letting fly.
Josephians were playing with 14 men, and this is what St. Peters can do. With the turnaround, the first 10 minutes, you've got to be very, very careful with this Patriot outfit. They will come up with a different fire. They will want to make sure that they capitalize. Oh, hi, little lady who's come to the field to watch the game. Start the young, they say, Shanika, and it's beautiful to see the parents bringing the young ones. It's what it's all about.
My father is a Josephian t-shirt, so this is where the rugby addiction will start, Sudarshana. As far as addictions go, it's a good one to have.
It's a brilliant one to have, isn't it? To make sure that you are interested in this game.
They spotted themselves on the big screen, which is available today. Wasn't available at the league decider, but there is one here today for our Papare.com camera crew to be appreciated on the ground as well as in your living rooms as Yumet Shihara lines up the kick to get St. Peters off the mark. Shihara taking his time. He's got 90 seconds. And the flags are up. St. Peters are on the board. It's 8 points to 3. And anybody's game now with just one score in it.
8 points to 3. St. Peters making a comeback.
Peters, number 14. Peters, number 14 off.
Saw very early on Coach Sanat Martis pointing not with one hand but with both hands towards the posts, because he knows as soon as there's just 1 point in it, the pressure shifts all of a sudden, makes a huge difference to have that 8-point cushion as opposed to anything less.
Change coming in for St. Peters College with
Behind.
Deneth Ranasinghe being taken off as Josephians restart. Tarindu very safe underneath it, steps and puts in a little dink.
Just not able to get his hands to the ball. Kushan Tarindu reached out with one hand, and again the slippery underfoot conditions getting the better of Marasinghe rather than the Pete Wright defense, who've had him sheepdogged pretty well. It's another player lying down on backfield. Play continues as Randika Jahamjaya lies in or around the breakdown. Kushant Tarindu passes it across the face of his post to Jai Vikrama, who will put the huge kick in. But Bhishma Jayasekara has done well to wait for it behind the 40-meter line. Nice hands that time from St. Joseph's. Dineth Ranasinghe not able to get rights to that ball, and that time looked like St. Peters did just enough to win the penalty. Looks like the tap has been incorrectly taken. Sudarshan, if you can see that again.
Yes, referee Arunashanta was right on spot to see what happened. I think in the hurry and the excitement of wanting to take it quickly, they managed to really make hash of it. The Patriots.
Well, this is not good news for St. Joseph's. Randika Jahamjaya, hugely important player for the Joes. That's Aiden Fernando going in there and just doing enough to win the penalty.
Let's take a look at how the tap was taken, if it's possible, from production crew. The Hamza getting a strap on his boot. Sudesh Jaivikrama, except for his thumping kicks, haven't been able to try and get any forward momentum, and he's the current leader of the Papare Most Popular Schools Rugby Player 2023. The Pete Wright number 12. Get voting on the Papare.com for your favorite.
Ramdeep to feed. The Josephian scrum just inside their own half. Here's Mara Singh. I don't know what says the referee, and the hands by the Josephians were used, and if it's a ruck is formed, you can't use your hands.
Yeah, it's up to the scrum half to try and dig it out. If you're involved in the ruck, you cannot have your hands in with the ball, as referee Ravin Alexander marks the spot. Good touch finder from Vishenka.
Pete Wright crowd on their feet. There's plenty of time left in this game, but of course they would love to be in the lead. And now they've found their voice. It's a cry of Peters. Rings out across Havelock Park. Rejoined by the cheer of Josa as we see the first driving maul set up by this dangerous Pete Wright pack. Went down on its own, and here's Vindhya Dimel for Dineth Ranasinghe. Stepping in field is Kushan Tarindu. Staying on his feet, the elusive fullback.
Not in. Back list. Advantage. Line offside.
Forward. Playing in the backs and kicked through. Vindhya Dimel knew exactly what he was doing, because the referee had called the Josephian defensive line offside, and they cannot afford to do this, Sudarshana. They've probably given away another 3.
It's going to be interesting because the Pete Wrights have figured that they're not spending enough time in the opposition red zone. So every time they're coming to the opposition red, they want to make sure they go back with points. Shihara lining it up. And within this first 10 minutes of the second half, they've managed to make sure that they score one and get themselves into another scoring position.
Pretty much from the exact same position as his previous kick. Yumet Chihara now to put St. Joseph's, put St. Peter's within a kick of the lead. The flags are up again, and St. Peter's are right back in this game. 8 points to 6. They won't care if they don't score a try as long as they win this game.
Number 9, Peter.
Yumet Chihara is 100%. And that missed kick, Sudarshana, to convert the try. How much will that come back to haunt St. Joseph's later on in the game?
Well, we'll have to wait and see as Coach Sanat Mad is opting to make another change. He took Dineth Ranasinghe out, and he's taken Galage out as well now.
The 22.
Kushan Tarindu puts it into touch, but just about on the 50-meter line. It's a good touch finder under a little bit of pressure. So youngster waves his Peter's flag. He's finally unfurled it after that first half.
It's most of the Pete Wrights really finding their voice and making sure that they get behind this team. It's a champion team. They won the league in fancy fashion, unbeaten fashion. St. Peter's College have had pressure.
Now they go to the back. It's just overthrown. And now the new scrum half on the pitch adds a little bit of impetus. Yumet Chihara will back his pace. And in the end, it's taken back by Tarusha Jasekara, who had Jasundara, who had absolutely no option but to touch down. Beautifully done by Yume Chihara. He knew he didn't need to score the try, just needed to keep the pressure on.
Incredible stuff. This is what St. Peter's can do to you in the second half. They're a team who are in control. They know exactly what they have to do in crucial moments. That's what championship sides are made of. Can they make sure that they get into the lead? Can they make sure that they get the ball to their backs and stick a couple of phrases or run a first fake ploy, Shanika, which will really catch the Josephians napping.
Yume Chihara now, who scored all the points for St. Peter's, also trying to get a try to his name. Ball over the top. Lovely tackle by Tarusha, but he doesn't make it count. The spot tackle was a brilliant one, flying up. Madhugasge, can he go over the captain? Almost at the line. Kushan Tarindu thinks they've scored. And the Peterites pretty confident as well. Let's see what the referee says.
Okay. Not a try now. Yeah. Okay, DM game. It is still. It's on the line. It is still. No connect कर मुन्ना तीनों तीनों कर. Yeah. Okay. Card है.
Ausura aino. Ausura aino කියන්න.
Card. මට ඒක ground in නෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ try line එක නෙමෙයි තිබ්බේ. But ඊට ඉස්සෙල්ලා knock on එකක් තියෙනවද? White game.
Okay, I'll check
it. Grounded බලන්න.
Producer.
Conversation there. Referee Aruna Shanta saying that he didn't see a grounding. It was before the try line, but he wants to check whether there was a knock on by White before.
Well, they're looking for a knock on from St. Joseph's as well. If so, it'll be a scrum in favor of the Peterites. Referee Arnashanta relaying that he wants to make sure that we first check that loss forward, whether there was a loss forward or not. Got to really commend the communication aspect from the referees and the ARs as well. Shanika, they've been crystal clear. Here's the grounding being checked. That's the tackle that did not stick.
Bandara was. There we go. Taken in by the replacement player. Didn't see a knock on. Ridmal acts as scrum half. Madhugasge goes towards the line. This is where he thought he'd scored. And it looks like it's on the line. It looks like it's on the line. Oh, dear me. Do we have
producer,
another angle?
Last previous start කරපු තැනට කලින් පොඩ්ඩක් යන්න පුළුවන්. Another angle of the view, that line of touch.
Vihanka Randeep almost pleading there with the referees.
He knows the
writing is on the wall.
Yes, they're first checking whether there was the knock on. But if the knock on was from St. Joseph, it's immaterial because you are going to be playing advantage in favor of the Peterites. So was this a try or not? We will have to wait and see when the television match official makes the decision, because according to referee Arunashanta, who was the closest man to the line, he said there was no grounding.
Here we go. We'll go right from the start. We see the reserve, that's Silva. Here's Yumet Chihara. Gets pretty close. Was there a knock on there? Is what the referee was asking. Here we are. Kushan Tarindu. Didn't see a knock on after this. Bandara. No knock on there.
Okay, producer, I made the decision. No clear evidence to knock on. We have to give another angle to the try line.
So I think, Sudarshana, when he said knock on by white, you know how the referees divide teams early on. Maybe it's blue versus white.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little conflicted, because it was he referred to St. Peter's as yellow at one point. But there you go. Is the contact on the line? Because first contact on the line or before it.
Thank you. Surah, you may award the try.
Thank you, Kader.
Decision made from the television match official that it is a try. Try awarded for St. Peter's, and just like that.
Well, it's not a game of inches, it's a game of centimeters and blades of grass, Sudarshana. Outstanding pictures there. And Suranga Arunasantha was right on the spot. Needed a little bit of confirmation, which he got from the television match official, Irshad Kader. And now
I think the scores need to be amended. It's 8 points to 11 currently in favor of St. Peter's, who scored this try. Can add 2 more points.
So apologies for the scoreboard mix-up there. It's 11-8 in favor of St. Peter's at the moment, with 2 points to come from Yumet Chihara, who almost scored that try as well. Got them deathly close to the try line. And can he curl this back? Not enough, as it will remain a one-score game. 8 plays 13. And it's all happening here at Havelock Park. This is knockout rugby at its finest.
11 points to 8. Pete Wright really making a comeback, just as we thought. I think that's where the referee wanted to check whether the ball went in front. Would have had a better angle on the other cameras if possible, but this one, Ashane Madugasge, the skipper, doing very well and knowing exactly where the line was, managing to ground that ball. Kushan Tarindu yet again, the tested receiver, doing very well to catch that ball. No malice there. Very good work from Navin Marasinghe, and Coach Mardis looks like a much relieved man now.
Kushan Tarindu full of running. That time he just ran into a wall of muscle. Almost bounced off Navin Marasinghe into touch.
You handle it. Okay. Your team, you handle it. No.
Hussein Madugasge trying to milk a penalty out of that, but referee Arunasantha not falling for it. It's been a tense game. 15 minutes left, Sudarshana. Anything could happen.
Oh, absolutely anything can happen here, as the Josephians yet again opt to go for a maul, and they've set it up beautifully. Looking tight, the Josephians. They need forward momentum from here. Pete Wright, who opted many a times, once a maul is formed, if you leave the maul, referee Arunasantha stopping play. Now handbags being thrown.
the TMO will be called in again because there looked like there was more than a little bit of argy-bargy there. Young miss looking well away from the violence, which is always good.
Number 8 man, right? Ball එක driver එකක්දී එයා play කරනකොට ගැව්වා. right? ඒක දෙලින්ම පිටට නැතුව ඒක අනිවාර්යයෙන් මට කමල් ගන්න යනවා කාඩ්. කාඩ් එකට ගන්නවා. right? ගන්න. yellow card starting with the penalty. Sir.
Looks like we are going to be in a decisive moment of this game. There's a yellow card recommendation.
You hitting. Yes sir. Okay, no argue. You hitting. මොන ප්‍රශ්නයක් ආවත් ඔයාලට ගහන්න බෑ. It's okay. I'm giving you a lot.
Well, for the second time in an extremely decisive moment in a game, Navin Marasinghe goes to the bench for a yellow card. Not sure exactly what the offense was. We couldn't hear referee Ravin Alexander really well, but you saw how the game turned when Navin Marasinghe left the pitch against St. Thomas's in the Lady Jayatilaka Shield. Is everything going to turn on its head for St. Joseph's here again?
He'll be a very disappointed man. This Marasinghe lad plays with his heart on the sleeve. Complaints from the Pete Wrights was that they were throwing their arms and that there was hitting inside that mall. Navodya haven't been very successful again under pressure, but seems like Lanka, although managing to get a hand on the ball, haven't managed to secure it. Marasinghe will only come back to the field on the 67th minute, and losing a player like that, especially your leader. Let's take a look at that maul. Here's the maul going forward. Oh, well, I'm very happy. I'm very happy that it was only a yellow card, because there could have very well been a red sometimes, because the contact was right on the head. St. Peter's College. A little bit of a fumble by Pasindu Bandara, still managing to hold on to it.
Let's have a look at that in the next stoppage again. Could see Navin Marasinghe trying to explain exactly why he had that reaction. But now St. Peter's with their tails up. Tarusha Jayasundara unable to prevent that ball going into touch. And all the prayers will come to naught if St. Peter's score here. Ranasinghe to throw in.
Okay, good.
And he goes to the front just to make sure that they win that ball back.
Straight kick, not 5 meter. Not 5 meter.
Ball not going 5 meters, so that's a important mistake. Another unforced error from St. Peter's. How costly is that going to be? As you know, in the lineouts, the ball must travel 5 meters before it's caught by another player.
Send me back, send me back.
Vihanga Randeepa opts not to kick it out, puts it deep, and it's taken by Jayavikrama. Good chase by the Pete Wrights. Ivano White has done well. And Yumet Chihara has another high tackle coming his way. So again, the Josephians discipline letting themselves down.
It was Sachin Vaidyanath, and most of the Josephians would have had their hearts in their mouth, and because Vaidyanath is the next leader for all these Josephian set of forwards, and they would desperately need him to do a massive role in this final 10 minutes. 8 points to 11. Massive touch kick, but he stepped outside, son, and the referee was right behind you.
Sunet Senitha Iran tried really manfully to keep that infield, but just touched down before he released the ball. Pete Wright Juniors in full voice now as their team comes 11-8 in front, and as we said earlier, that 11 points is worth the 3 points is worth about 6 or 7. Difficult ball for Gallagher to take. In fact, it's Praneeth Silva who's on at reserve scrum half, once more squandering possession.
Well, it's easy to forget, isn't it, that it's just 3 points differentiating these two teams, because the momentum has totally shifted towards the Pete Wright outfit. It's just 3 points that the Joes are chasing after. If they can stick a couple of faces, get their forwards into the mix, they've been able to draw in that penalty, and they have very good kickers in their mix. If they can try and capitalize on the ball handling and possession like they did with Territory, they are still in this game. 8 minutes to go.
Advantage offside is a call from referee Aruna Santha. They were a little too over-eager. The Pete Wright line, they were not 5 meters from the last foot of the scrum, so it's a new law change. Well, I say new, but it's been around for about 5 years, that every, maybe even more, Sudarshana, that every defensive line needs to be 5 meters behind the number 8 foot.
Well, one of the many new changes that had come in place since you played the game, Shanaka.
I would have killed for a 5 meter defensive line, Sudarshana. Sure, plenty of number 8s would have loved for that to happen.
Time off.
Which is why I just can't believe it's still not being exploited as well as it should be. Time is off, and I think we might be seeing a couple of replacements coming on. Referee Aruna Shantha making sure that St. Joseph's have only 14 on the pitch.
Well, we hung around people like all good scrum halves do, getting in the ear of referee Aruna Shantha and telling him, sir, there are more numbers in the opposition line-out. Can Josephs get this one going? Can they form an important maul and go the distance? Lovely sack coming in from St. Peter's.
Maybe it was not as immediate as it should have been. They were sacking well in the first half, but this time it was a collapse.
Collapse is the call. Are they going for 3 to draw this one out and drag it to extra time? They'll get Marasinga back. Or are they attempting to go to the corner? Their lineouts are working. They have superior jumpers to the Pete Wrights, who are opting not to contest.
Well, I would go for the corner every day of the week, Sudarshana, as Ramdika Dahamja does just there. Good positive call.
Now St. Peter's on pins. This lineout. Here's another look.
Well, it was Ridmal was on the ground when he made the tackle, and I think that was partly the problem.
I know we have a lot of time up until, not a lot of time, but we have time until we decide the player of the match. But Ronit Ridmal has been humongous in this game for St. Peter's College for a prop forward.
He's been absolutely excellent. Shamod Senaratha holds it at the back. Madhugas, they've got to take this, haven't they, Sudarshan? They've got to take this. Coach Nilufar Ibrahim, sitting up in his little perch, wherever he might be, would have communicated already. Surely they've got to take this kick.
Well, which saint does God favor?
Well, I'm sure the hotlines up in heaven are ringing off the hook, Sudarshana, for both St. Peter and St. Joseph. Their personal assistants must be running helter-skelter as Ivano White lines this up. Won't take a more important kick in his life, the young lad. And he just squeezes it in, the right hand upright, and we have a tight game here. At Havelock Park, the Josephian supporters, we weren't sure who they were praying to earlier. Now we know. And the Josephians find their voice again. And Navin Marasinghe, in the 67th minute, has come back onto the field. And now it's 15 against 15. And as if the 67 minutes that went before meant absolutely nothing, we have a 3-minute showdown to this quarterfinal. It's a semi-final pitched battle.
Vishanti Sosa coming in place of Atukorala, and Janit Marasinghe carves it up.
First knock on, second knock on.
Well, the pressure. Navin's just come on, but Janit's just dropped the ball.
Atukorala doing his job wonderfully well. Now need to make sure that they put in a big shift. Coach Ibrahim.
He's got up off his chair.
Oh, it'll be very difficult to be seated at this point of the game. Here's St. Peter's.
Praneeth. Vindedimel hasn't had to do much today. Sudesh Jayavikrama breaking through. Can he get to the line? For the first time he's opted to run today. And Marasinghe lifts Kushantarindu off the try line and drives him back. And now it looks like they've turned it over. Vishika Fernando has done brilliantly there. Outstanding work. Oh, Randika Jahanjir just tried to sidestep and lost the ball as he lost the cup.
Well. Scrum in the 5 meter for St. Peter's College.
Attention of Adityanatha at the back there.
Okay, after the knock on, you have to touch down or not. Okay.
They're checking the loss forward. Marasinghe to the Hamjaya. Loses it.
Well, I think it might have come off the hand of Aiden Fernando. Sudarshana.
Yes.
That's where Bhishma Jayasekara lost the ball. So it's a knock-on from St. Peter's.
Shanaka, that could be an intentional knock-on if it came off the hand of Aiden Fernando. It'll be very interesting with him because he did not collect the ball. Here's another look.
No question.
Okay, producer, I made the decision. Asura, go there with the knock on. You made a scrum.
They've decided that it's come off from St. Joseph's College. So scrum in favor of St. Peter's.
White ball.
Could have sworn it was touched by Aiden Fernando there. And even if you're in the tackle, if there is an intervention.
11 all. 5 meter scrum. Under a minute, 2 minutes to go. Just a minute to go rather. What can St. Peter's do? Sudesh Jayavikrama must be licking his fingers.
Dulaj Navodaya Praneeth Silva dives over for the try.
I think that's going to be a penalty because you cannot jump over defenders. You may have touchdown. Let's take a look. The player jumping is going to be a point of point where the TMOs are going to look at, and also the referee will consult on. Very interesting.
I know. I know, sir. Again.
කාඩ මෙතන ග්‍රවුන්ඩින් එකක් තියෙනවා. just ඊට ඉස්සෙල්ලා player jump කරනවා. okay ඒක මට පොඩ්ඩක් clear කරලා දෙන්න.
That could very well, if the player is deemed as jumping,
try
could
momentum
be a yellow card. That's going to be very interesting, because if that's the decision that the TMO is going to make, referees are checking for that. Take a look at this.
Yes, Praneeth, jumping over the tackle. Vaidyanatha, he does ground the ball. There's no question about that. Vaidyanatha has him in his grip. But is that dangerous play from Praneeth Silva jumping over the would-be tackler?
Okay, producer, I made the decision.
Referee did not have a problem about the grounding. There was a grounding already, but it was the jumping that the referee wanted to check at.
You may award the try.
Well, diving for the try, and the try is awarded. It's awarded, and this could be the final nail in the coffin of St. Joseph's College as St. Peter's really drive it as the replacement halfback Praneeth Silva might have just scored the try of his life. 16 points to 11.
Dulaj Navodhi did really well to draw and pass. 8-9 move. They didn't need 14 or 15 outside them. Praneeth Silva, airborne for the try, did really well to control the ball even on his way down. His hips were way high in the air, but he managed to dot it down. But an interesting debate as to whether that dive over the would-be tackler
the reason, I think, why he was not penalized, he didn't dive over a tackler, but was diving for the line, which is why referee Carter called for that. 11 points to 16. It may be full time on our clock, but it's the referee's clock that matters. St. Joseph's, can they create something? Referee Arnashanta deeming that enough time for one more play. He is starting to coming in, but Sadev is the man collecting the ball.
It's still one score in it. Vindhya Dimel will want nothing more than to thump this ball as far as he can down the pitch. Here's the Hamja. Why does he kick it away, mate? He's looking for the 50-22, but just doesn't find it. Thought he had to keep the ball in hand, but they've obviously checked with the referee.
Well, reminding all of you, although our time is over, it's the referee's time that matters. And the referee deeming, because there were plenty of stoppages due to various reasons, deeming that there is a couple of more minutes to be played. Shanak, we need to try and decide on a player of the match, and I believe it's difficult to try and look away from that towering figure wearing that number 1 jersey in the Petrite outfit. Ranit Ridmal is my nomination for the player of the match.
Well, we're unanimous, Sudarshan. I thought he's been outstanding today. Not just in attack, but in defense as well. He's moved the ball nicely. And he's done a lot of work in defense. Especially to nullify the threat of this big Josephian pack. Randeepa. Last gasp stuff here. Can St. Joseph's come from nowhere and steal this game? Well, not from nowhere. They were leading at half time. But the second half has all been St. Peter's. Who will go in through those pearly gates first? Janit Marasinghe on to his brother Navin. Fresh from his little rest at the sin bin. St. Peter's will know that they cannot afford to give away a penalty here. And the ball is knocked on. Ritmal, our player of the game, comes away with it. And he does really well to hold on to that ball and present it for Kushan Tarindu to somehow just smash this out somewhere. It doesn't matter where. Praneeth Silva has been in the thick of it since he's come on the pitch, and Sudesh Jayavikrama will put this high into the air, but it hasn't gone towards the touchline. Bandara has knocked it on. The referee looks at his watch, and that's the end of the game. St. Peter's walk away from Havelock Park with a 16-11 victory. It certainly didn't go all their own way, and Sanat Martis looks far more relieved than he is happy to get into the finals in what would be a repeat of the previous league decider from a couple of weeks ago. What a game here at Havelock Park.
Well, the Josephians ever so close, so very close, but Nursiga as they finished second best in this second semi-final. But they can walk out from Havelock Park with their heads held up high because they really did push the league champions to the hilt. League decider replayed next week when St. Peter's College take on Isipatana in the final of Dialog School's rugby knockouts. Commiserations to the Josephians in a blue and white, but what a game we've had.
Well, one thing we know for certain after these 70 minutes is that the weather gods are Catholic, Sudarshana, because we didn't have a drop of rain over the course of that 70 minutes. And we really have to be grateful for that. But that's the flag that flies high here today. But the Josephians can hold their heads high as well because they were outstanding in the first half. Just couldn't withstand the onslaught of that Peterite Yumet Chihara-led attack in the second half. Madhugaske scored a try which touched just a few blades of grass on that whitewash, and that was enough. The TMO decided that that ball was over the line, and that's what really dented the morale of this Josephian team. They lost Navin Marasinghe to the sin bin as well in a crucial period of the game, but St. Peter's managed this match all the better to come out winners in that 70 minutes.
Well, we have another final. This year, the All-Island Sevens final, Shanaka, was St. Peter's College versus Isipatana. Isipatana winning that one. League decider, St. Peter's College versus Isipatana. St. Peter's taking that one. Here we are, the knockout final. St. Peter's College taking on Isipatana. Who will win that one as we take a look at the full-time score of the second semi-final of Dialog Schools Rugby Knockouts. 11 points to 16. St. Peter's College making sure that they remain unbeaten, making sure that they book themselves in another final. Can they finish this season as double champions? We will have to wait and see.
Well, it has been entertainment from start to finish. So we show you the highlights of this incredible game between the two ancient rivals. Yumet Chihara started off the second half, bringing St. Peter's onto the scoreboard, 8 points to 3, and then 8 points to 6 from almost an identical spot. And then came this important try. St. Joseph's thought they had thwarted it, but Madhugaske, the captain, did just enough to reach out and touch the whitewash with just enough of the ball. Here we go. Turns around, bang. That's the try.
Ivano White pulling one back, getting the only 3 points the Josephians scored in that second half. But the young lad who came into the field in the second half, dealing that killer blow to make sure that the Peterites are unbeaten in the longer format this season. Key stats for you: 1 try for the Josephians, 2 penalties, with St. Peter's College scoring 2 tries and 2 penalties. Player of the match, of course, Ronnie Duridmal of St. Peter's College, the big prop forward who did all the hard work for St. Peter's. He was omnipresent in the field and did deliver some very, very good passes on a day where handling was very difficult, Shanika.
Good passes and some really good carries as well, Sudarshan. I thought he was one of the outstanding ball carriers, making the ball available also for St. Peter's. I thought Sujesh Jayavikram was really good today as well. Made a few mistakes in the first half, but came back very strongly in that second half and managed to lead their team, the big players, coming back into that game in the second 35 minutes, and St. Peter's running away, deserved winners, but St. Joseph's can really hold themselves in high esteem for the way that they played this game. Just a few things not going right for them in the dying moments of that match, but apart from that, they showed that they were certainly not a 7th or 8th place finisher in the league.
Well, we are coming ever so close to the conclusion of the season, but nothing's done yet. Here's the road to the final. There was one spot vacant when we started. St. Peter's College have booked their place there. Isi Patana taking on St. Peter's College. Patana got a bye in the quarterfinals, beat Zahira College in the semifinals, booking their spot. St. Peter's College had a very controlled outing against Trinity College and now have beaten their traditional rivals on a double header to secure Father Basil Viratunga Shield and also book themselves a spot in the final, and they will meet next week.
Well, Colombo City looking wonderful, and it will look wonderful on the 10th of September as well, as Isipatana will take on St. Peter's for the second time in a high-stakes game this year, 2023. It looks like it's going to finish with one of these two teams having bragging rights over the other, because it stands 1-1, as Sudarshan has said at the moment. The final of the school's knockout tournament at the Royal Complex, so a neutral venue, so neither team will have a home ground advantage, but it will be, if the last couple of encounters between these two teams are anything to go by, will be an absolutely outstanding game of rugby. Well, thanks very much for joining us on this coverage on the papare.com and on Dialog TV, wherever you might be in the world. Very happy to be a part of this semi-final fixture for you. We'll be part of the finals as well as we come back from Sudarshan Apiris, myself and the rest of the Papare production crew. It's goodbye from Havelock Park.
Make your mark.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy. Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique, It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy. Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy. Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy. Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Coloma, beautiful outside and inside.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Coloma, beautiful outside and inside.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Smooth vanilla dairy ice cream with a thick layer of caramel, wrapped in a delightful coat of rich chocolate. It's unique. It's magic caramel ice cream bar.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Coloma, beautiful outside and inside.
Black Knight, make your mark.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
Enjoy the infinite possibilities of the freedom of space, inspired by the beauty of our land. Sri Lanka's finest finished, largest sized porcelain tile collection. Majestica. Lanka Tiles. Fine living redefined.
Kiss Ride. Try the new wave of energy.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. catch me howling at the moon.